What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. The Raiders have finally hired their offensive coordinator. It is official. The Las Vegas Raiders have hired former Chicago Bears offensive coordinator Luke Getsy as the new offensive coordinator. And the Raiders really did not waste any time after the shocking news earlier today that Cliff Kingsbury was going to back out as the offensive coordinator for this team last minute. This left the Raiders empty-handed when it came to the offensive coordinator position. I was very curious to see who we were going to choose, who we were going to move forward with. And ultimately, I was hoping we would get something done quickly, and the Raiders did exactly that. Not even 24 hours passed by, and we chose our new offensive coordinator. And what do I think about this? I mean, I'm not going to lie, Luke Getsy was not my first option at all. I'm really not a huge fan of this signing. And honestly, this news is it's kind of confusing to me because something doesn't really make sense. There's definitely some type of disconnect. I mean, I think it's hard to argue against this. It's pretty evident that Luke was not their first choice as the offensive coordinator. And you can just tell by the style of offenses, the differences between a Cliff Kingsbury to what Luke Getsy brings to the table. You got Cliff Kingsbury that's known for the air raid offense, a spread up tempo type of offense, a guy that runs a vast majority of his offense in the shotgun through 10 personnel, empty sets, a more of I guess you could say a dynamic play caller. And with the Raiders initially trying to go after Cliff Kingsbury, I was kind of assuming that our next option was going to be someone with a similar style of offense to what he brought to the table. I was kind of thinking maybe we're going to consider Chip Kelly. I mean, another name too that was an interesting prospect was Eric Bieniemy. The Washington Commanders are going in a new direction at the head coaching position with Dan Quinn, and really his job is uncertain at the moment. But the Raiders went a completely different route. They chose a guy who really did not have a whole lot of success with the Chicago Bears in his 2 seasons as the offensive coordinator for them. Before that, he was with Green Bay as I think he was a quarterback's coach. I mean, he didn't call any plays in Green Bay, but he was under Matt LaFleur. And before that, I believe he was the offensive coordinator for Mississippi State. And just in general, I mean, I still got to watch the film to watch his offense a little bit closely. But in a nutshell, his offense is a lot more of a run-based offense that is really heavy on motions, play actions. So you can just immediately kind of see where it's much different than the direction we were going with. And just right then and there, you can just kind of see how that's just a lot different than the direction we were going with in Cliff Kingsbury. So in my eyes, I think it's really hard to argue against this. He was most definitely not their first choice, but at the end of the day, they had to do something, and that's the route we're going to go with our offense moving forward. I'm not super excited about it, to be honest with you. I mean, hopefully I'm wrong about this, and it definitely just brings an interesting dynamic to what we're going to do moving forward with this team and with this offense more specifically. Getting an offensive coordinator like this, are we going to target a veteran quarterback in free agency? Are we going to target Justin Fields via trade? That's definitely an interesting topic. I would like to assume that they're probably not going to go after Justin Fields. I mean, Getsy has direct familiarity working with Justin Fields. Like I said, their offense really wasn't very successful, and you could ultimately argue that Justin Fields got him fired. So really, if anybody's gonna know about Justin Fields and have insights on him, it's definitely gonna be him. I'm not really a huge fan of going after Justin Fields, to be honest with you. He's had injury history. I don't love his ability to read progressions and make reads as a passer in the league so far with what he's shown. He's already been in the league for about 3 seasons now. You're really not going to get him on a good contract for very much longer either. I mean, at that scenario, I'd rather just go with our own quarterback in the draft, and then if you can hit on him, then you got him set up for 4 to 5 years, depending on whether you select him in the first round or not. And it definitely just kind of changes the perspective of what we might do in the draft. Now, it's still a long ways ahead, the NFL draft, but with the signing of Cliff Kingsbury, to me, that just showed me that very likely we're going to be aggressive and go up and trade up for somebody in the NFL draft. With the hiring of Luke Getsy, is that the same thing that we're gonna do? You know, I have no idea, to be honest with you. I did watch the Chicago Bears a little bit throughout the season. There definitely were some games where they just had bad play calling. I remember there was one game where they just threw 3 screens in a row that just was very terrible. I mean, when they played the Chiefs, that game was over midway through the second quarter. Also against the Minnesota Vikings, they threw so many screens as well. So really my early impressions is we got an offense that is gonna emphasize the run, a lot of motions. We're probably gonna be doing a lot of screens as well. You know, it's definitely not as exciting of offense compared to what a guy like Cliff Kingsbury would have brought to the table, but that's water under the bridge at this point. I'm definitely looking at this hiring from Tom Telesco with a side eye. It's not an ideal situation for me, but we'll just ultimately see what ends up happening. I assume we're probably going to address the offensive line if he wants to run the ball more effectively, which is, you know, something we struggled with last season. So that's definitely an upside. I mean, either way, no matter who we brought in as offensive coordinator, I thought the offensive line needs to be addressed in this offseason. But the news today was definitely a shocker to me, and I definitely want to get your guys' feedback, Raider Nation. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think of the hiring of Luke Getsy as the offensive coordinator for this team? Let me know in the comment section down below. But with that being said, Raider Nation, that is all for you guys in today's video. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.